Welcome to the Good Talk Podcast, where we remind you of the joy of life, the love of God, and the possibilities that lie ahead. Pete and Jordan here.
Episode 31.
31, let's go. And if we sound different today, it's because we're recording very early in the morning, which we normally don't do. We normally record early afternoon.
Yes, we are just energetic
Woo.
since it's in the morning.
We have a kind of a crazy busy day and lots of work stuff and kids and all kinds of stuff. So we had to squeeze it in this morning.
Yes, bright and early. Love it.
Let's go.
Episode 31, does it really deserve your reaction?
Ooh, does it?
I don't know. Does it?
We're going to talk about it. I'm excited about this because we're talking about what I think is one of the most important resources you have as a human being that we never pay attention to, and I think it costs us greatly.
Yeah, this is a good one. And this spawned from an Instagram post that you had put out. And if you guys don't follow Pete on Instagram, is it every other day or every couple of days you put out a quote, inspiration, something? And this one really struck a chord with people. So we're like, let's just talk about it on the podcast. So that's what we're going to do today.
I can't wait. I'm really excited. And in other news, this week we celebrated our 1-year anniversary.
Yes. In May, what was the date?
May 16th.
May 16th.
Yes. Come on, let's go. I think that's the first time I publicly nailed that.
I don't know that you should get a lot of credit for that, considering it was 4 days ago.
But we only, that's my point. It's very difficult to remember your very first anniversary because you haven't celebrated it. If you're celebrating your 10th, then you've done it 10 times. You should know that date. This is the first time I've celebrated May 16th.
I will give you some grace, but it was a struggle and a half. You didn't know my birthday for 3 years. So I'm not sure I believe you.
I'm not great with dates.
No, you're not. But we did have our 1 year. I feel like that year flew. I remember when we got married. So we got married in the middle of COVID, as you can imagine. And we had a very small ceremony outside on the farm. So we made it work and it didn't matter where we were. But I remember thinking, this is probably going to be a long year because we were going to be living in the same house for once and working in the same house together, both working from home. And my love language is quality time. So I was fine with it. But
this is your year then.
This is my year. But I was like, this is going to be a long year. But it really flew by.
It did.
It flew by. So what are some things in the past year that you noticed, learned?
That's a good question. Okay,
loved.
on a funny level, I would say I had no idea that you would do laundry as infrequently as you do. I mean, I swear, if I didn't do laundry, I don't think you would go in the laundry room maybe once a month.
It's not true. I would probably do it every couple of weeks. Okay, so disclaimer. I realize in about 2 months, we're going to be doing laundry every day with the little infant.
Yeah, we are.
But I have no need to do my laundry every other day like you do. You wash
I do it once a week.
Incessantly.
No, once a week.
No,
I do it once a week.
That's not true.
I do. I have a routine. It's usually
It's a
on
couple
Thursdays.
times a week, 'cause there's laundry
I start with
in there right
laundry,
now.
then I hit the towels, then
It's not true. But I just happen, you wash everything after you wear it one time, which I don't do. It's not good for your clothes.
That's not true either. Only certain things, like workout stuff that gets all nasty and sweaty. I don't wash my jeans every time I wear them. I don't.
You wash every shirt,
not
every hoodie.
every button-up shirt. And no, I'll wear a hoodie. But if I grilled in a hoodie, if I grilled barbecue chicken, it's gonna smell like barbecue chicken.
I know all of you are wondering. I have lots of undies, so I'm fine. I'm not re-wearing those. But that's really why I just get through everything that I need, and then I wash. I'm not just living in filth. But thank you, thank you for that lovely
it's
thing.
just an observation.
Okay,
you
want me to share one?
Sure.
I noticed living with you that one of your methods of communication is yelling across the house. And it drives me absolutely insane.
do that.
You did it 3 times yesterday, not that I counted. But it's literally, I'll be in the back of the house, like far away, probably 50 yards away. And Pete is in the very front of the house. And I'm going to try not to yell on the mic, Jor! Number one, he knows I hate that nickname. It's Jor.
It's just it
sounds like Thor, and it makes me feel so
the boys named you Jor,
horrible.
and so I can't help it. It's just stuck with me. So it's Jor. I yell, Jor!
It drives me insane. But my point is, he yells from the front of the house, and I'm like, "What? Would you like to have a long conversation 50 yards away?"
Usually, what it is, it's a point of reference. I'm trying to find out where you're at. So, so one of the times, I know what you're referring to yesterday. I was in an online meeting, got off the meeting. I didn't know where you were. I thought maybe you left the house. So I say, Jor! It's like a SOS. It's like a beacon. Where are you? And then I heard a little noise upstairs. And the baby's room was like, what? I'm like, okay, now I get it. You're in the house.
Then you're like, do you want to come downstairs?
Would you rather me call you in the house?
Here's why it bothers me. It makes me assume that you think I'm going to come running to you
because
you have something you want to say. And I'm like, come back to, I'm back there. Or sometimes where I am. Sometimes full well where I am.
It's usually, I can't go to you. It's when I'm in the shower and I've forgotten a towel.
No.
Or I think of something while I'm in the shower. I'm like, Jor!
No, we literally this morning, I forget what I was doing. I think I was curling my hair. And you are just out of sight, but it's still, Jor, I was just wondering why the door's still open. I'm like, I'm not going to have this conversation. You're welcome to walk up to me and have it.
I'm dying.
Anyways.
It's so funny. I really do that. I don't know why I do it.
In sweet news, and then I promise I'll stop talking. Other thing I noticed about being married to you and living with you is little things that are, you may not notice are like super sweet, or maybe they feel redundant because you do it every day, actually really make a difference, I think. I've told you this, and I've probably said it on the podcast and definitely on my Instagram, but every morning I wake up, lately being pregnant, I wake up after him. And you get up at the butt crack of dawn, but I'll walk out and he will have been working for like an hour and a half, 2 hours already. And as soon as I walk out, he stands up with like gusto, like he's so excited, like I've never walked out of the room before. And every time he's like, "Oh, good morning," and I'm like half awake and not nearly as present as I probably should be. And he's like, "It's great to be Pete and Jordan. It's going to be a great day." And it's like little things like that. I start my day every day the past year with just such a sweet like welcome into the day. I think that was really nice.
You're very kind.
Okay.
I could go on and on about all the sweet things. I don't know that I've learned a lot of new sweet things about you. It's just been confirmed. And to be able to see you 24/7 these days and to be in this house with you, it really is, like, I know you know this, but like your whole mantra of be kind is something that you truly do live that out. And to all the people around you. And not everybody gets to observe that. Obviously it's easy to do in front of a camera or on social media, but it's not easy to do like every day of your life. And I get to observe that with you.
That's really nice.
Pretty cool.
Thank you.
Okay.
Enough.
Happy 1 year anniversary.
Enough.
So let's jump into this conversation because I want to talk a little bit about energy. And I think basically, I like your cheetah outfit too, by the way.
Thank you. You like the energy?
I like I said energy. I was like, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see her cheetah outfit. If you're not watching on YouTube, I just say she's got like this little black dress and a cheetah thing over it.
Thanks.
I like it.
Thanks.
I like animal print. I do.
Oh my gosh. I'm surprised you don't have like a name for it. You always call me like some kind of character based on what I'm wearing.
Yeah, cheetah girl.
Okay. There you go. You already had it.
Okay.
Ready to fire. So,
really, in general, and there's probably more types of energy than this. Again, very elementary level conversation about energy, but easiest way for me to describe it is like there's a physical energy we have, and then there's like a mental energy, or maybe another way to say it is an external energy and an internal energy. Mm-hmm. And this internal energy, a lot of people would call it maybe a spiritual energy, heart energy, but it's very different than your physical energy, right? And we put a lot of focus on our physical energy, and we should, right? I want to keep up my physical energy, so I'm, really careful about what I eat and when I eat. I'm careful about making sure I get enough sleep. I track my sleep on my fit. I'm pretty serious about monitoring my physical energy. But for most of my life, I have not paid as much attention to my spiritual energy or my mental energy or this internal energy thing that we have that I believe is kind of generated from the heart. And this energy is crucial to a lot of things in life. It's crucial to having and maintaining healthy relationships, because a healthy relationship requires listening. It requires sharing. It requires, meeting needs. This energy is impacted by our creativity. So you're a very creative person, and you know this. There's certain times you sit down, you have so much pouring out of you. And there are other times, I don't care how hard you work, it's like nothing's coming.
You're zapped,
right? And so this is an energy you need when you're writing. This is the energy that you need for ideas. You need it for problem solving. And this heart energy, this internal energy, this spirit energy, if you will, is something that, again, we just don't think a whole lot about, but it impacts so many different aspects of our life. So let me give you an illustration of how this works, okay? This is a very basic illustration. I've heard this before. Let's say that there's a guy and he just got dumped by his girlfriend. And all of a sudden, he's unbelievably depressed, so discouraged, can't get out of bed, right? His house is a wreck, doesn't clean his house, pizza boxes all over the house, doesn't want to go out and see anybody. So he's getting tons of sleep, actually, right? And he's eating tons of food. Two things that we've been told, create energy, but he has no energy whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So let's say this goes on for 2 months, right? All of a sudden he gets a call from his girlfriend, and she's like, hey, I made a mistake. I can't live without you. I want you back. What happens in that moment? More than likely, all of a sudden, the dude jumps out of bed. He has plenty of energy to clean up all the pizza boxes, clean up the house, get ready, jump in the shower. He can't wait to see her again. She's on her way over, right? All of a sudden, after 2 months of no energy, in an instant, he's full of all this energy. That energy right there, that's the kind of energy that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right? So there's 2 different types of energy.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. The second point I want to make is that both forms of energy, the physical energy and the spirit energy, or the heart energy, the internal energy, they're both limited, right? They're not bottomless, if you will. So the physical energy, again, we know this, that's easy to see. If you go out and run 13 miles, at the end of that 13 miles, you don't have as much physical energy.
Right.
You're probably, depending on your training, you're going to just fall over, right? And not move for the next 3 days, but it's depleted. You have to understand that physical energy and this mental, spiritual energy are both limited. They're not endless. They're not bottomless.
Right.
Then the third thing, and this is where things started to really come together for me, has helped me out tremendously, is understanding that reactions suck up a tremendous amount of this internal energy, this spirit energy, this heart energy. Sucks up a tremendous amount. So when you're watching the news and they say something you disagree with or that just ticks you off, right? There's the energy deposit in that moment. There's the energy transfer. You just lost some energy. When you're in a conversation and someone says something that you disagree with, right? And you react to that, energy deposit. When someone posts something on social media and you're scrolling through Instagram and all of a sudden you see it and you're like, that's so dumb. I hate that. That's ridiculous. That's so untrue. And then you just go on this rant, right? Yeah. Energy deposit. When you get an email that all of a sudden puts you on the defensive, energy deposit. Someone leaves a comment on your Instagram, right? That just ticks you off. Energy deposit, right?
Yeah.
All of these energy deposits are happening every single day, and your reactions are where a lot of that energy goes. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And when you think about it, originally you wouldn't think the reactions are what take your energy, right? You feel like it's something that you would initiate would take your energy, but you're right. Even observing something, if you're not in the right mental space, could totally deplete you.
Totally. And we usually blame it on the other person or the content that was shared. So there's a phrase I've heard myself and a lot of other people say many times. I'm just now thinking about this. I'll say, these people are wearing me out. Mm-hmm. They're actually not. My reaction to whatever they're doing or saying is what's wearing me out, right? Not them. And so here's where I get to this fourth thing, and this is where I want to kind of land for a few minutes, is you get to decide every single day how you broker your limited energy. You get to decide that every day. So here's a new little statement that I've been playing in my head. And this was the quote, by the way, that you were talking about from Instagram, is, yes, I noticed, but everything doesn't need my reaction. Say that with me. Yes, I noticed, but everything doesn't need my reaction. Yeah, I noticed that, but it doesn't necessarily need my reaction. Here's the truth. Listen, this is going to blow some of you away. It is actually possible to read something on the internet that you disagree with and just move on. Right? That's possible.
Do you think, I'm just trying to like wrap my mind around why this is so prevalent, why we deposit our energy like this constantly. I feel like social media like turned us into these monsters of just feeling like we have the right to react to so much so often, just because it's not anyone's fault. It's like you're just getting shoveled people's opinions and misinformation or maybe valid information just constantly. And now more than ever, we have the ability to consume it and respond to it.
Yeah.
So I think it's such a pain point because we're surrounded by it.
Yeah, I think what social media probably did is it serves it up to us more often.
Right.
This issue of like depositing or, in my opinion, wasting energy on reacting to everything in life is something that most of us have done from early on in childhood. But social media has served it up to where the temptation to deposit so much of your energy in life towards reacting to things, and not just social media, but we're bombarded with news, messages, marketing nonstop. That is designed, by the way, to get a reaction out of you. It's designed to do that. So it takes a tremendous amount of discipline and conscious effort to resist giving a reaction to something that you don't want to. But that's where I come back to, hey, you can notice something without necessarily giving it an energy deposit. So maybe, again, for you, maybe this is ignoring the Instagram comment that's baiting you into an argument. Maybe it's deleting the email that's begging you to write a response to try to get them to like you better. Maybe it's turning off a podcast or news broadcast that's making you just boil. Right? Some people, for some reason, want to chase every offense.
Yeah.
It's not a good use of your time. It's not a good use of, again, your energy. So I'll give you a practical example. Let's say that I'm in a conversation, or let's just say we're all in a conversation, right? And we're talking about the vaccine. Lots of really strong opinions about that, right? And let's say someone in the conversation says something about the vaccine that's extreme. Either they think it's stupid and nobody should get it, or maybe the other extreme is they think everybody should get it, including your dog and cat. Okay? And so that's brought up in the conversation. And let's say that you have some strong opinions that run diametrically opposed to their opinion. In that moment, you feel a disturbance inside of you, right? Whether or not you know how to identify that or not, but you'll instantly feel this disturbance on the inside of you. You can fall back behind that energy and just let it pass. Okay, it takes a little something out of you that you heard them say that because you think they're wrong. It takes a little something out of you, but it's not a big deal, right? It's.
You can acknowledge that that feeling exists without attaching to it.
Exactly, without chasing that energy down. But if you give in or you do one of the things that your mind's telling you to do in that moment, you fire off the email, you start the argument, you get to this point where you're just like, I've held it in long enough. I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. When you do that, you have to understand that is a huge step. It's one thing if the disturbance is going on inside of you, but the moment that you allow that energy to move your body, to yell those words, to type that text, as soon as you engage your energy, it is depleting fast. Super fast. Why? Well, because the moment you followed that energy and you engaged, right? You responded to them, all of a sudden you gave them your reaction. Now what you have is two egos involved. And you have these two egos involved, right, in this. And does it end there when you give your reaction? No. What's the other ego going to do? The other ego is going to respond too. And now we have this back and forth, which is really just depositing, throwing away all kinds of really important energy.
Yeah, and it's funny even before the other person responds. So like you deposit energy in your response, and then you waiting on their response back, or imagining what they're going to say back, or like giving energy to their response before they even, like, it's not just a one side, I'm giving my energy based on what I'm going to say. Then you pour it out wondering, okay, how are they going to come back? I bet they're going to say this, and then I'm going to just play it out.
And you know what? The energy is not just deposited between those two people as well, because now what are you going to do? Now you're going to call your friend and you're going to say, you're not going to believe what so-and-so said. And so I said this back to them. Was that right? And now all of a sudden what's happening? You're just, again, more energy. It's sucking the life out of you. And here's the real kicker, all right? Even beyond that, the real kicker is this. You keep throwing your energy away by reacting to everything around you. You do that enough, and you not only have an energy problem in that moment, but you're going to attract more and more of that. Like when you put more of your energy, right, in that kind of way, into that kind of environment, you're now going to surround yourself with people who interact with you accordingly.
That's so true.
Anything you put out there, it's always going to come back.
That is so true.
Always.
That's convicting. Because I mean, even I think about certain workplaces that I've been in, and you can be around the person who is constantly talking drama. You can be the person that's constantly talking drama, or boss said this, can you believe this? So-and-so didn't do her job here. So-and-so didn't do this here. And then as soon as you allow that one time, you are now that person's go-to.
Absolutely.
And then that becomes what you do. It's like, and I've been a part of that. I'll own that and say, like, I've been a part of an organization where I felt like I was around somebody who was negative and just dropping bombs left and right. And I maybe one time in a weak moment was like, oh my gosh, I know, I can't believe that. That made my day so hard. And then from then on, I was that go-to for them, and so you're right. It just attracts whatever you accept.
Yeah. What you put out is what will come back. And so again, somebody say, okay, I get it, but what's the alternative here? You're saying we just become passive human beings. I'd say no. There's some things that probably are worth you chasing that energy. But you need to be real clear about that, right? Make sure you're putting your energy towards the things that matter the most. Bottom line is this, not everything needs nor deserves a reaction from you. Mm-hmm. So that guy that cut you off in traffic, sure, if you want to scream at him, scream at him. Give him the middle finger. Spend the next 10 minutes complaining to the person in your passenger seat about how that guy was such an idiot and a jerk. If you really want to do that and spend your valuable energy in that way, go right ahead. Mm-hmm. I just don't think it's a wise use of it. And I say the wise person in that moment tries to remain centered. And when they feel that energy shift into a defensive mode, and you'll feel that energy shift, mm-hmm. right? When that happens, instead of chasing that energy, it just takes a moment to slow down and make a conscious effort to decide you're not going to go there. It's simply a matter of taking the risk that you are better off letting go than going with that energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think when you're able to, you said this earlier, like detaching from the emotion, acknowledging it's there, but detaching your identity from it. When you're able to do that, I feel like that's when you can actually, in a healthy way, assess, does this deserve my reaction? Because you're right. I think sometimes there are things that we need to respond to and react to. But if we're attaching our identity to the emotion, we don't have clarity to make that decision. Yeah. Like you're living in your emotion, you're living in your frustration and your defensiveness and all the things. Whereas if you can observe that it's there from I'm taking a 30,000 foot view.
So you're saying you observe they say something, they do something, and it brings up anger, resentment, bitterness. You're saying there it is. I see it. I see the object. Mm-hmm. That's not me though.
It's not me.
Yep.
It's not who I am. It's not what I'm attaching to. Is that emotion though worth my response? Yeah. And I think if you can detach, you're much easier. It's a much easier decision.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, it's seeing it, observing it, and saying, I'm going to fall behind that energy. I'm not going to go with that. I'm not going to attach myself to it and it become my identity.
I like the visual of that, like fall behind it.
Yeah.
Like you can almost truly like take it and see yourself fall behind it, look at it, and then decide and move forward how you respond.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's something I'm practicing a lot these days. And this isn't about guilt. This isn't about right or wrong. Listen, spend your energy on whatever you want to. I'm just saying, I think that if we begin to understand how important this energy is, how it impacts everything from creativity to our relationships, our ability to be intimate with other people, when you realize how precious and valuable that energy is, you might be a little more careful about how you spend it.
Yeah.
Because again, it's not bottomless, it's not infinite, and there are ways you can build it back up for sure. But I just think, for those of you listening to this, we need you, right? We do. We need you at your best. And so choose your battles wisely. And if something needs action, then respond instead of reacting. But think through that, because it's possible to get to this place. Not everything needs or deserves your reaction. And the more I'm like being conscious of that and being aware of that, I feel like I'm able to invest and direct that energy
To better places.
Yeah.
And you just kind of live lighter, right? Like
For sure.
And that's how it impacts your relationships. That's how it impacts your work. That's how it impacts your creativity, is because you are living not attached to this negativity.
Yeah. I think it's a big deal. So listen, I'm far from mastering this, but I'm becoming consciously aware of it, which is that first step.
Yeah.
And thinking before I react to something.
Yeah. No, I think it's good. We're both working through that stuff. And I think I love that visual, just falling behind it. That was a good talk.
Thank you. I thought it was a good talk too. It was a good year. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Love
Thanks
you
for
so
remembering.
much.
Love you so much. Oh, man.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening, as you always do. Don't forget to rate and subscribe. If you leave us a review on iTunes, we'll send you the 30 Days of Good.
If you take a picture of it, I feel like it's a broken record. Take a picture of it, send it to our email at info@theplaceforgood.com. Again, this is iTunes specifically. If you take a picture, send it to us, and we will send you your free 30-day digital journal. It is awesome. We're getting a lot of great feedback. So.
I saw a couple of really cool screenshots this week of people who are going through the 30 Days of Good.
Yeah. It's been fun to watch. So.
Yeah. Thank you guys as always. We love you guys. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May He smile on you and be gracious to you. May He show you His favor and give you His peace.